damn it! Damn it!
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my Siege Grove A4 map. So made some tweaks, so let's talk about it. So the number one thing you'll notice is that I'm using a custom HUD now. So basically what I had to do is hack up the default player destruction HUD. So player destruction mode allows you to load a custom.res file, as you can see here. So I wondered if I could use this to my advantage, and like maybe I could add or remove elements from the HUD, or maybe I could kind of build my own HUD based around the logic of player destruction. So this actually worked very well. Building this HUD did take a lot of time because you can't just reload it in a game. You have to completely restart your game every time. So it was a bit tedious to get everything all like lined up and all that. And so I just tried to be as minimal as possible and keep it close to what the original was. You'll notice that I have a payload HUD here. And this payload HUD is actually powered by a couple different EMV overlays. The way the EMV overlay works is that you can set it to switch to different, well, I guess, overlays. And so you can manually send an input to this, this EMV overlay here and have it switch to the next one. So I'm actually using this with a couple different textures, which are all stored in the same VTF file. So if we open this VTF file, you'll see that this is actually just a single VTF with 10 frames in it. So if I hit play, it'll go pretty fast, but you'll see what it's doing. So basically I have every 10% on the payload track, I have another frame that I switch to. So that means anytime I cross one of these track nodes here, it'll switch the overlay to the next frame in the sequence. And if the card actually rolls back, it will also switch to the previous one. So for example, this one is frame 2, this one's frame 3, so if the cart rolls back to here, it'll actually switch back to frame 2. Now it is a bit, you know, obviously it's not perfect. You know, we're missing the smoothness that the cart normally has, but this is, I think, good enough for an Alpha 4. So back in the game, I'll show you a little demo of it. So basically the HUD now shows a percentage. So basically this means that the cap time takes 100 points, and so you get 1% per point. So I think this is a little more intuitive, and I think that the amount of time to cap for 100% is, so I think it, if I remember right, it does every half a second is 1%. So this should cap relatively fast, but not too fast. So there'd be a lot of, you know, I hope there'd be a lot of fighting here. And so I think the percentage thing is a lot more intuitive to people, so they can actually see what's going on. And so once this caps up, then my payload cart will spawn like it did before, only the HUD will now update. So there we go, the cart spawn and the HUD is now going to update when I cross this guy. Yep. So as usual, we win when we cap. So as you see, the overtime still works. However, when I stop pushing the cart for a couple seconds, then I will actually end up losing instead of stalemating like was what was there before. So this is, I think, a little bit more intuitive for people. So people thought that, you know, they actually lost when they defended. So this should make a little bit more sense for people now. I also came through and upgraded these health packs to be both half packs because, you know, as usual, people complain about not enough health packs on the map. So I'm going to see if just upgrading these makes a difference. Maybe there's enough health now. So there's a There's a half pack in that room. There's a half pack under the point. There's a half pack here. That should be like plenty of half health packs. However, I think that people are probably still going to complain because there's no health in this main route. So I might have to do something about that. I might have to maybe switch that back to a small pack, and then maybe put a small pack somewhere around here, maybe in this S room here. So another thing I was learning about was these things called funk instances, and basically they allow you to reuse some like element from another VMF. So a good use of this is the lights. So I have a light, I guess you would call this like a prefab. So it's got all the elements that you need in it. So got the funk dust motes, you got the light itself, the like ambient light. Then we got the prop, the spotlight, and the glow as well. So they actually look really good in game. So instead of having to like grab all these into like groups, now I can just manipulate them as one like solid entity. And the other benefit is that the funk instance actually snaps to the grid, so I can better align these things, and they don't have the weird alignment that groups normally get. So I'm gonna try to explore more what I can do with this, but I really like this just for this one use case at least. All right, so let's talk about some known issues. So one issue right now that I don't think I can get around, unfortunately, is that the glow of the cart will be viewable at all times, and both carts too. So you'll be able to see the red and the blue cart basically no matter what. What I've tried to do is hide it by putting it so far under the point that it's like it's just this little speck on your HUD, so you have to look basically directly down. I think most people haven't noticed it, so it's probably fine, but I'm wondering if maybe in the absence of being able to hide it, what I can do is actually just make it part of the map and put it like maybe inside of, maybe make some kind of garage door thing that the cart comes out of and like moves into the area, like as if capping the point unlocks a door that gives you the cart or something. It's just a thought. Maybe you know, trying to find a creative way to work around the fact that I can't turn off that glow. So another issue is you can spectate your own cart in the out of bounds area, and I can't seem to figure out how to turn this ability off. I think it's something that just is part of the game, and is another thing that's going to be kind of quirky about the game. So another reason to maybe put the payload cart inside the gameplay in a kind of another way, more like in the map area. Another issue that is not a huge issue, I have mostly resolved this, but if you, one of the quirks of EMV overlays is if you get some status effect like the bleed or Uber or Girardi or something, you'll notice that the payload HUD disappears. So what I've done is I have a timer that actually will refresh it. So every, I think, 2 seconds it will reappear if for some reason it disappeared from your screen. So it just makes sure that, like, you know, whenever you have this thing, it will eventually reappear for you. So another issue that is unlikely to happen that frequently, I think there's specific configurations that this happens in. So basically what happens is if you're displaying an EMV overlay and you restart the round with the EMV overlay still being displayed, then it seems to persist in the next round, which is a problem because this means that any condition when the round restarts, I have to clear the overlays before the round actually starts. So when the round restarts, you can see that we actually have the wrong HUD here. So this is an issue that a couple people have reported to me when they have the waiting for players thing happening, or if they somehow cap the mid during that time. this is again pretty unlikely, but there may be conditions in which this would happen. However, if you uh, just whack yourself with the bat or something, you'll get it back. So, or if you actually cap the mid as the other team, you'll still get it back. So, it's a minor bug, and I need to maybe do some more digging and figure out where all the conditions this can occur in. And so in this version, I've made no layout changes whatsoever. I want to basically focus this update on just the HUD changes and the logic changes. And I don't know if I'll playtest this because there's no change in gameplay, but the only improvements I made were to the HUD and all that, which it may seem like what I did was very simple, but I assure you that I spent probably 16, 17 hours of time just working on just the HUD alone. It is quite time consuming to do. So, this to me feels like a whole map update and not just, oh, well, you made some pretty things appear on the screen. Wow, good job, Zeus. There's a lot more to it than just that. So, and working out all the bugs and trying to figure out what I can do, and it can be tough. It can be difficult to get around source sometimes. So you stick with it, and eventually you get something that looks relatively good. So this isn't perfect by any means, but it's definitely doable, and based on some feedback that I anticipate getting, I'll probably make some more minor improvements to it. But this is much more true to the Paladin's HUD. So the Paladin's HUD gets the little percentages to see how much has been capped, and then there's the the cart that, well, there's not a cart, I guess, that appears, but there's it tells you the progress of the cart and it gives you the timer. So this is a lot closer to what you might expect from a Paladin's game. So yeah, that's really all I have. The only other thing I've been thinking about is maybe how I might want to eventually detail this stuff. And I was actually thinking that one of the things I want to do is maybe change my theme from the kind of generic, big ass tree alpine theme into like a Mayan theme, because we don't see a lot of Mayan maps out there, especially like completed ones. There's a lot of stuff that the Mayan project tried to do, and so there's a couple really good ones. But so my idea for it is that basically the blue team is going to be having set up a they're like researching the Mayan ruins, and so basically the blue side is going to be very industrial, as if they had like set up here, they like built a facility here or something. So it's going to be very reminiscent of normal blue structures, right? The mid area is going to be actually like the Mayan, ruins, the kind of ancient ruins. So the other thing about this layout so far is that the Mayan assets actually lend themselves very well to the kind of weird, little lip here and all that. And the reason I have this lip here is because it's true to the Paladin's original, the original Paladin's map I based this map off of. So, visualizing this into ruins may be a little bit obscure right now, but, I can see it. And then what I'm going to do is, so the blue will be very industrial, and the mid area will be very much like a ruined temple. And then the red area will actually be like, I want to incorporate a lot of the woods that red normally gets. Like, so red gets the warm natural colors. So I was thinking that I could explore some maybe cave theme for red side. So as if like there's a bunch of just wooden structures inside. So obviously the layout would be the same, but I want to have like very visually distinctive detailing on either side, kind of like how CTF Decker is actually symmetrical. However, it's it's kind of crazy how well he was able to, you know, make the detailing like look so different on either side, and it feels like a real location, even though the layout's symmetrical. So the red side is to be a lot more natural, a lot more cave-like. So there's a lot of cool cave assets there with the mine project, and there is also a cave pack, I think. And so part of this idea would be, if Blue set up a research post, I could also borrow assets from the construction pack. So I'm kind of, you know, merging a couple ideas together into one. So it's just something I've been thinking about. I'm not sure if that's the way I'm going to go. If you have comments or suggestions about that, you know, leave them in the comments below. Yeah, so that's all I got, and we'll see you in the next one, guys.